Hey, y'all, what's up? This is Coach Paul. God has qualified me, and I'm bringing to y'all another one of these Move Monday episodes. As usual, y'all, before we get off into the content of the day, I got to say what I always say, and I strongly encourage you to get this in here and in here so that you may incorporate this into your lives. And that is, watch this, y'all. If you don't move, that person, those people, that those places, those things, those thoughts, or those ideas, they are 100% going to move you. And I promise you this, y'all, you do not want to go where it's going to move you to. It's that plain and simple. All right, excuse me. Let's get off into what we're going to be talking about today. Something that's been on my mind for a couple of days this week. And I was able to relate it to a scene or a situation in a movie. And the movie was Bad Boys Part 1. Now, before I get off into the situation, the things that happened in the movie that was on my mind, I have to ask a question for all of us, myself included. What is driving you? What is your focus? What is your motivation? What is it? What is driving you? What is your motivation? What is your focus? And as a matter of fact, where are you going? Are you going with a sense of purpose and meaning? Are you going with a sense of urgency? Or are you just lollygagging along like the status quo of what's going on in this world? That's a question that all of us have to answer when we get up, as we get up, as God give us another day, when we get up in God's time, right? Using God's time, what are we gonna do? What is the focus? What is the motivation? What is the drive? Where you going? Is it a sense of urgency, or are we just lollygagging along? Now, I want to make sure that when we think about motivation, I hear lots of people talk about how they're not motivated. And it always makes me think about a little video that I had saw that was part of the training that I needed to do when I started training to be a coach. And it was two guys in this little clip. And one of the guys said to the other, he says, hey man, what do you do when you come to work and you find the people that you work with unmotivated? And the guy replied, I don't know, because I don't know anyone that's not motivated. He said, we're either motivated to do something or we are motivated to do nothing. So that's one of the reasons why I'm asking, what is your motivation? Because all of us are motivated, whether that's to do something or do nothing. Now, let me take you to these scenes in the movie Bad Boys Part 1 that brought up the subject of what we're going to be talking about today. All right. It was towards the beginning of the movie. Will Smith and Martin were in the car. Martin was driving. They were going somewhere. And Martin was just driving along. No sense of urgency. He had focus and direction because again, they were going somewhere, but there was no sense of urgency. Will Smith started to bother with him and mock him about his driving. Because again, he was driving, but there was no sense of urgency, and what they was going to Will Smith felt like that there should be a stronger sense of urgency in Martin's driving. That's one of the reasons why he was mocking him. Now, here's what I want to ask. In terms of our greatness and extraordinary potential, all of us are going somewhere, right? Is there a sense of urgency as we're going? Is there a sense of urgency as you're going along this road to the destination that you're going to that's tapped into or connected to your greatness and your extraordinary potential? Is there a sense of urgency, or are you just moseying along like that thing gonna be there all the time? That's a question that we have to ask everybody. Because one of the ask ourselves. Let me rephrase that. That's a question that we all have to ask ourselves. Because one of the things that Eric Thomas says, he says, take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity. So as we're going along to wherever it is that we're going, there's opportunity, right? Now, is that opportunity gonna always be there? We don't know that. Because, again, opportunity has a window, opportunity has a door, opportunity has a lifetime. We don't know how long that's gonna last. So the thing about our greatness and our extraordinary potential, as we're driving along, we have to have a mindset that Will Smith had when he was in that car, experiencing Martin driving along like there was no sense of urgency, saying, hey, we have our opportunity to get to this situation. It's not going to be there all the time. You need to move a little, you need to move with a little bit more focus and a little bit more sense of urgency. Because again, opportunity has its time. Watch this. We're getting older. All of us, everybody, if it's one thing that everybody in this world, that's still in this world is doing, we are all getting older. So what are you doing? What is your focus? What is your motivation? What is your drive? Are you driving slow like Martin was in that movie, like you got all the time in the world to get there? Because, thank you so much, Holy Spirit. Because at the end of the day, as you're driving along, you got to understand the destination that you're going to. More often than not, God has somebody waiting there for you to be able to do one or two things. You're going to either impart some of your greatness into them, or somebody is going to impart some greatness into you. So, what's the drive? Are you driving Miss Daisy? What's the motivation? Are you motivated to do something, or are you motivated to do nothing? What is your focus as you're going? Because watch this. Here's one of the things that keeps us. This is so. Watch this. Here's one of the things that keeps us from getting there with a sense of urgency, or walk in the greatness that's in us in this fullness. Here's one of the things that stops us. Here's one of the things that hinders us. Y'all ready for this? You making it about you. I'm making it about me. Anytime we making this thing about us, it's gonna be just like we'll be just like what happened to the Hebrews, the Israelites, when God pulled them out of Egypt. It's supposed to have been an 11-day journey to the promised land. However, it took 40 years, and many of those people didn't even get there. Is that going to be your story of my story, because as we are walking into our greatness, we're not driving with a sense of urgency. We're not driving with a greater level of motivation. We're not driving with a greater level of focus. We got to, because if you don't move it, it's gonna move you. That, my friends, is a promise. Now, so we talked about how he was moving, just moseying along. And the other guy that was in the car knew that it was a sense of urgency and that we needed to move along a little bit faster. I want people in my car that's saying, hey, get up, we gotta go, we gotta move faster. I want people in my life like that. Many of us don't want people in our lives like that, who has that mindset and that drive and that focus and that vision, because we want to just make it about us and mosey along. So one of your motivations and one of my motivations need to be not only to be moving with a sense of urgency, but making sure that we have others in our lives that has that same heart, that same mindset, that same focus, and that same drive. All right. Let me get to the second part. So now we at the end of the movie. Martin is determined to catch the bad guy. Where's your determination going? Where's your determination taking you? Okay. Martin is determined to catch this bad guy. Both of them are driving in cars that has a whole lot of speed. Martin gave the reasons why he was going to make sure that he got him. What's the reasons that you're using to make sure that you get what you need to be getting? Or even, are you pursuing it? Are you pursuing it? Because again, that greatness is either supposed to be imparted to you or you're supposed to impart it to somebody else. Now, let me go ahead and finish this. So Martin has vision, he has purpose, he has motivation, because this guy shot him in the leg. He almost shot his wife, and Martin said, I'm beating him down because he did X, Y, Z. So he had his reasons that he had to catch this guy with a sense of urgency. So he's speeding because he's going to make sure. Now, watch this. He's speeding because this is the only opportunity that he has to catch that guy. So he's going to do what he needs to do to make sure that he catch that guy. Is that what you and I, is that what you're doing? Is that what I'm doing? Am I making sure that I catch a hold of what I'm supposed to be catching on the other end? Are you making sure that you're catching hold of what you're supposed to be catching and or pursuing on the other end? Now, one of the things that Will Smith said, now, obviously everybody understand that at the end he caught the guy. And when he caught him, Will Smith said passionately, now that's how you drive. That's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive. That's what some of us need, somebody to be hollering into our ears. We need to get around somebody, some places, where people is saying, that's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive. Because we're in a time, people, where there is a strong sense of urgency for us to walk in our greatness. I've heard it many times over the last few months about how this is high time for the potential that for greatness that we can have, and and a lot of other things that we can have in our lives. This right here is the best time as any for many of us. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we pursuing it? Or are we just driving along? And if we're pursuing it, what is our reasons? What is our motivation behind it? What is our focus? Because if we miss this opportunity, we can't be mad at what our futures are going to look like. If our futures has a dim light, we can't be mad at it. Because right now, there's great opportunity for us to move into these opportunities that's available to each and every one of us. And the awesome thing about it is that when I take advantage of this opportunity, when you take advantage of this opportunity and you do it with your greatness, with your extraordinary potential, we will all be amazed at the results that we are going to have. Again, we need to turn our names into assets. And we have the opportunity and the resources to make sure that that happens. So I'm going to land the plane and I'm going to ask this question to us all. Are you driving slow, just moseying along? Or are you driving with a sense of urgency so you can catch that thing, get that thing, or be that thing that God has predestined for you to be? Again, everybody, we all have a level of greatness and extraordinary potential within each and every one of us. The thing about it, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, is in many situations, it's over there. And you and I got to go get it. Let's go get it. Please, with that being said, I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until we meet again, please be well. Do the next right thing. God bless you all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. With that being said, Coach Paul is out. Deuces.